everyone. We're going to get started. We have Mary Bradshaw with us today. She is the juror of the 2025 Alaska Triennial. She's visiting us from Whitehorse, Canada, where she is the Director of Visual Arts at the Yukon Center. So for this year, we returned to a juried format. It's a blind jury process, meaning that Mary received all of this online digital information about the artwork image, how it looked, the artwork description and details such as the title of it, the dimensions, the materials, and then an anonymous artist statement. And after culling through 500 plus submissions from 222 artists, she narrowed down to the 47 artists that we see here in the Triennial. So thank you for joining us. It opened up yesterday. It will be on view until September 7th, and this is but the first of many wonderful programs that we will have up here in the exhibition. Welcome, Mary.
Yay, Mary.
Oh, thank you. Guys. Also, I should say we are filming. If anyone is not okay with that, I can try to maneuver it so that it's just showing Mary, but nobody's waving their hands frantically. Okay, over to you, Mary.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. This is really lovely. We're gonna keep this like pretty casual. We'll have a chance to kind of wander through the space a little bit. As Rachel said, we had, well over 200 artists apply, and it was incredible going through. And honestly, when I first opened up the online submissions, a little daunting, a little overwhelming. Each piece had maybe like kind of 2 or 3 images and a really brief statement and the materials and the date, and that was it. I didn't know, obviously, the name, like artist gender, their community, age, etc. So in some ways, that was, really kind of liberating, just like purely looking at the art and purely deciding from there. But as well, kind of narrowing down from well over 500 pieces to, as you see in here, about 47, was also, I left a lot of favorites on the table as well. So know that even beyond what the selection is here, there were some like incredible strong work kind of across the board. Sorry, I'm pondering like whether I want to jump in and chat about a couple works. Maybe I'll just kind of chat about some of like kind of the broader things that I felt I saw when I was going through kind of that whole larger selection. So one of the first things that really hit me was just the sheer amount of different materials that artists were using in Alaska. There was by no means like, oh, this region must be known for carving, or this, it was, you name the material or practice, it was represented within this greater call. So, even just in this space right beside us, we have cyanotypes, we have a video installation, painting, photography, and then as we go in, there's textiles, ceramics. As I say, like, you name a practice, it was represented within certainly that greater call, and that's something I really wanted ultimately reflected within this space, because I think that, Alaskans, you guys can see that as a strength, that there's so much different types of art making happening across the state. And then the other thing that really hit me, again, in part, I think, being based in Whitehorse, I really felt that like really deep sense and that deep connection to place, kind of across these works. And how the land is referenced in so many, different and often personal ways. Maybe actually kind of while we're thinking about that, we can even look at Maureen's. I had a chance to meet her last night at the opening, which was great. She's a very recent grad. She's Filipino-American and is referencing as well like the sandhill cranes, and the thought of how the sandhill cranes obviously migrate to Alaska and in a sense kind of have 2 homes. And that's how she's representing herself in that sense too, having her home here, so tied to Alaska, but also to her heritage. but yeah, as I say, like I feel like I can kind of speak to that real like connection in so many. Like the cyanotypes, I feel, are a great example of that too. So for those of you who don't know what this medium is, it's basically a kind of a type of photograph in a sense. You put the solution, which is what the glue is on first, and then you're making a sun print. So these are Devil's Club leaves that she's cooked, and then it's exposed by the sun, and as well as she says, in this case, also by a full moon. And then, like literally in the field, she washes it off, and yeah, it's kind of set with water. What I love about this is cyanotypes need obviously a lot of sun, a lot of light to create. And so obviously it has to be done in the summertime. But I don't know about you guys, when I look at this, it also feels very frosty. It feels like hoarfrost or winter. So I love how it's almost like both seasons that we're seeing here. Awesome. What are we doing? Is that okay? Meander in? So yeah, I wanted just to stop by Lauren Stanford's piece here. It's entitled Aftermath. And within her statement, she spoke about the aftermath of forest fires and the scarred landscape, how the trees look like, and in a sense, the spare skin becoming, also a representation of that land of post-fire. So you can see like the charred ears, but also life coming back as well, that new life and that renewal of fire itself. And right beside is Owen Tucker's, it's also referencing forest fire. I was really excited to see this particular piece in person because it was so difficult to see online. It's paper collage. And I have to admit, like when I first was going through, I'm like, what exactly even what am I looking at? So it's really nice. I'm sure all of us feel this way. It always feels so much nicer to be able to experience artwork, in person than on screens. And it was actually only yesterday morning that I had a chance to walk through for the very first time. When we planned the show, it was fully digital, like even to where everything was going to be hung. I was given basically a floor plan, and then we sized all the works to that floor plan, and I just moved pieces around on my computer. And so it was exciting to come in here and actually see it hung. This is actually the first show that I've juried or curated and not been on site during installation. So that gave me a little a little anxiety, because oftentimes, frankly, I'll have a plan, and then once I'm in the space, I'm like, well, actually, So, but I'm glad I feel like it's come together. And when my first walkthrough yesterday morning, one of the staff asked me, is there anything that kind of surprises you as you're actually here, physically in the space? And there's definitely some works that feel like a little bigger, a little smaller, that you would have had in your head. But also what hit me, especially as we walk into that next room, is how much color there is. And I don't know if that's purely on me. I do love color, and I was also juried this in November, so maybe I was also seeking color. But as well, I think we all know this land is also really full of color, and how much all of us really respond to that northern light. Especially now as these days are getting longer, I'm sure we all can feel it in our bodies, just having that more light and the colors returning. So this piece is by juried, and he is actually a doctor here in the the community. And so I think that's a really interesting thing about this open call as well. I spoke to one of the artists last night, and she was saying this was the very first show she's ever been a part of. So it's a real mix of, definitely professional artists and a chance for folks who maybe wouldn't necessarily even call themselves artists to apply and be a part of, this overall show. So this, so I'm giving you a bit of a hint. He's a doctor, and he was really interested in talking about waste, and in particular medical waste that he really feels and sees within his profession. So these are all prescription bottles melted down. Yeah, I know. As soon as I think we really all recognize that color as soon as you hear that, right? And what I love too is, I don't know about yourself, to me it almost looks like a big blister pack of pills too. Yeah. So it's just lovely to see, his own relation obviously to his profession, but also to his art. From what I understand, he's been in the biennial in the past, but as a photographer. Maybe this is another one that kind of hit me just as a lovely, real surprise. Gretchen Weiss Brooks, Winter Light, and this is another one that really felt like home to me. I think we all know this quality of light as the twilight dissolves into night. But do check out the signs. It's a fully gold facing comes through the yeah, so it's really lovely. It's kind of another play on light. Yeah, which I think as well resonates to this place in so many ways. Just because when we had our press preview yesterday morning, it was really interesting, and I guess how many staff and the press really want to stop and look at this one, just because they knew the intersection. Right. And I'm sure as you all hear from Anchorage as well, it actually kind of reminded me even a little bit of Whitehorse. We often talk about Whitehorse is not a very pretty city, and that you'd have to remember to look up to remember how beautiful that you are actually somewhere nice. And I kind of felt that way too, that we can kind of stop seeing the landscape that we're in, and that's what I love about artists and having a chance to interact with art, because I think they can make us look at something that might be mundane and kind of see it with new eyes again. And I think you could almost say the same about Grace Choi's, just right here too. Again, I've had a number of people talking to me last night. They're like, "Oh, I know that street." Yeah. And just this, quiet moment. As, maybe their neighbors are talking, or they're waiting for the car to come and they're on their phones, or yeah. Sorry, I haven't, as you can tell, where do we want to go next? I'm very sorry, Rachel. I think we should go talk with Joshua's. Or Jacob's, I'm sorry. So this was another piece that I was really excited to see in person, because I think it's one of those that is difficult to really get a sense of in a digital photograph. So Jacob Wilson, so his ancestry, actually I might get Rachel to jump in with his, I know his homelands in a sense are from Nome, and he's using graphite from Nome to create these pieces, which I really kind of blows me away that, he's literally using, the Alaskan soil, the land to create these cloudscapes. And I've had a number of people ask me, this is how he really likes to have his work hung, right directly on the walls with pins. Again, it's amazing how it almost just kind of shimmers. almost feel like throwing this out to folks. I know we have at least a couple artists with us too, and if they're interested to chat about their work, we're very open to that, but I don't want to put pressure on you. Or if there's other works that people are like, oh, could we chat about X? I'm very happy to do that too.
Well, we know the artist right behind you.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours.
Oh, that's fantastic. Again, I was really excited. Yeah, again, Wounds of the Forest. We don't actually have that many watercolors within the greater mix, so I was particularly excited to have hers for representing yet another medium within there. And yeah, I love how it's, especially as soon as you hear the title, you can really kind of see that, you know, there's kind of that, to me it looks like a birch tree. And yeah, it's very, it's one of those, there's so many pieces in here that are so tempting. You're just like, oh, I want to see the tactility of them even closer up.
I can tell you that walking with her is very slow. Look at every little bug. She's like, oh my God, I've never seen a bug like that.
Again, right? Like that's like, I think like the artist's superpower is being able to kind of like see these things in front of us and stopping to see them and then reinterpreting them. I think it's a really beautiful thing that I felt definitely like within this greater, I know this is a very kind of eclectic show, but that really deep sense of being here and being, you know what I mean? I often joke that like, we live in a landscape that, you know, can kill us, right? Like it's almost overwhelming at times. It's no wonder that it, you know, really kind of seeps into everything that we do. And yeah, to me, that's like, if there was a theme of the show, to me, that's kind of the greater one is how much, well, we don't necessarily have like kind of big vista landscapes kind of within this mix, yet all of them are kind of speaking to that in that sense as well, like how this environment shapes us and we shape it. Yeah. Anyway, yes, happy for any questions or, yeah.
Do you know what inspired the artist to do Judah Falls the way he did
Oh, okay, I'm gonna try to remember the artist statement. There is a bridge that is going to be built that makes some sort of road on the Kenai Peninsula a quicker journey. And her statement is that we're always moving forward, and sometimes it's positive and sometimes it's negative. That is it. The Cooper
Oh, thank you. Okay,
perfect. Which I was going to say that too.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. Oh, Cooper Landing. Oh, that's down.
Again, I was so excited. This one I knew was large, but being able to like, you know, be here with it
It's
was
fantastic.
yeah.
With that
Scale, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you can feel like you could walk across that bridge because
You
just
can hear
that
the water
water.
because of
Yeah,
the-
because of yeah. Oh.
And if anybody knows anything about commercial fishing, that
That's-
is so, yeah.
I know.
I want to catch the ashes.
Exactly. He hasn't even had time to like ash his cigarette, right? That's something.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts because I stopped smoking 10 days ago.
Oh!
You just fucking grab a cigarette.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's hard. Yes. Hard nowadays.
Well, yeah, thank you everyone for coming. I'm hanging out, so if there's, you know, questions you just want to come chat with me about, I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone having our little casual impromptu little walk around it together. So thank you. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.